Joining us at this point live is Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Dr. Pooja Tripathi, just tell us about what, the main focus of Rahul Gandhi's was in this address, which of course he's made to the Indian diaspora abroad. He's on a visit to the United States of America. What, according to you, was the focus of his address? What was the thought process behind raising the issues that he did?
Hi, good evening, Uday, and everyone and the panel. As a leader of opposition, this is Mr. Gandhi's first visit to US, and definitely the whole the grueling electoral process, and the way it was a watershed moment for the electoral politics, for the democracy that is India, definitely came up. Where he stressed upon the supremacy of constitution, the supremacy of people's will to fight against any attack on their, on their democratic beliefs. And that's what I think the whole crux of Mr. Gandhi's speech should be on: how he emphasized the art of listening, how he emphasized the power of empathy, respect, and love in Indian politics, which is definitely missing, and definitely made an attack on the the RSS idea of having a brushing up India in one stroke, and that's very obvious when it comes to how RSS sees women have anti-women statements that have come out from Chief Mohan Bhagwat's statement, or the Rashtriya Sevika Samitis, or the whole the RSS history that has been embroiled in it. He also, as you pointed out, he also stressed upon the role of China as a production economy, and how there's a gap between the way we are imparting skills and the way people have inherent skills. By taking an example of the shoemaker from Sultanpur, whom we met last few days back, and bringing in, asking the people of the Indian diaspora to coming up to the occasion and to contribute to India's story. I think he created a niche, he created a bridge between both the shoemaker from Sultanpur and the startup ecosystem that the Texas holds. And I think it's a beautiful speech. Everybody should listen to, and he contributed. I'll be very honest. What strike me in that conversation, what strike me in that approach, is that Congress is peripheral. The whole opposition is peripheral to the way people rose up to fight. The people rose up to fight on their space to dream, on their space in the India story, on their space in on any attack that the 400 Par slogan had for the Constitution of India. And I think that's the biggest crux that we can take away from his speech that he delivered at the Dallas.
Yes, however, Pooja, the speech has been criticized by opposition parties. The BJP has said he was trying to praise China and insult India.
I don't think he was trying to praise China. And let me be very clear: RSS is not India, and India is not RSS. It's the same RSS that in its policy, RSS in its policy opposed the Anti-Rowlatt Act, opposed the Civil Disobedience Act, opposed the National Non-Cooperation Movement, opposed the Quit India Movement, opposed the Naval Mutiny of 1946. Is the same RSS that British government brought out a paper in 1943 saying RSS is no menace to law and order. In fact, it does not actively participate in the dharnas and protest demonstrations. The same RSS that opposed the joining of the anti-colonial movement is the same RSS that loyally consented to the British Civic Guard Authority. So when he says RSS is we are fighting for a country that is opposed to the idea of RSS idea of India, and I think he was very correct. And when it comes to criticizing, let me be very clear: nowhere in his hour-long speech, nowhere he criticized the idea of India. He criticized the idea of someone rising up and saying, I'm non-biological and there is some divine power that has been vested in me to rule the country. No, the country outrightly rejected your non-biological claim by puncturing the 400 Par narrative. I think that's where nowhere he took credit for whatever performance Congress has come up to in Lok Sabha elections. He established the supremacy of the country, and nowhere, we have to understand, this was the same Prime Minister Modi who in Shanghai and in Seoul went on to say that people were ashamed to be born in India before 2014. No, he's a proud Indian, and each one of us is a proud Indian, and that's what he established. He established how people are the supreme power in this institution, how established how everyone has a part in the India story, how everyone is a protector of constitution, and the Lok Sabha elections have rightly pointed out the same result.
Yes, but Dr. Pooja Tripathi, again, obviously, you do believe that issues of unemployment and issues of caste, also the caste census, are working with the people, which is why, of course, the leader of opposition is raising the issues that he is. We were speaking with, a senior leader of the BJP earlier in the day, and he said that Rahul Gandhi is living in La La Land. These are not issues that are working with the people. The BJP also saying that, he is trying to divide Indians. In fact, Pradeep Bhandari of the BJP on News X earlier in the day said that he is dividing Hindus and he is also dividing Indians and he is insulting Hinduism by his statements as well.
I think, as I said again, Uday, RSS is not Hinduism. He insulted RSS, and I stand by his statement. This is the RSS. Mohan Bhagwat has said that, Mohan Bhagwat in his address to the workshop of Rashtriya Sevika Samiti equated the women power as Matra Shakti and Kutumb Prabandhan. We, the doctors, we, the fighter pilots, we, the scientists who took India to the moon, we don't want us to be, labeled as Matra Shakti and Kutumba Prabandhan. The Rashtriya Sevika Samiti, November 9, had a press conference where they claimed that, they oppose the idea of women participating in RSS Sakraga. They oppose the ideas of daughters having a say in paternal share. They oppose the idea of marital rape, and rape is something that happens in urban India. This is Rashtriya Sevika Samiti General Secretary Sita Anandan's statement. Anybody can Google it. So RSS is not Hinduism, and nobody. And when he talked about Abhay Mudra, when he talked about the policy of Shiva, when he talked about the teachings of Shiva, I think everybody, each one, I'm a Shiva Bhakt, that everyone follows one or the other deity, and that's where nobody is a lesser Hindu. And when he talks about the caste census, when he talks about the problem that's plaguing India, he was talking to the Indian diaspora. Just remember that. It's the same Indian diaspora you approach to when you go into an election, asking for their support in elections. They should be known, they should be wary of, they should be aware of, and they should be part of the struggle that the country is facing, because they will bring the skills and the technology, whatever you say, they are the part of the India story as you and me are. So they should know about inflation. They should know what where Congress stands in caste ideology. And nowhere Rahul Gandhi denied, said any bad words about India and comparing to Shanghai and Seoul speech of Prime Minister Modi. So I think Bharatiya Janata Party is living in La La Land. And when he said nobody's afraid of Prime Minister Modi any further, revoking of lateral entry, the revoking of broadcast bill, the indexation benefit, the unified pension scheme, I think it's Bharatiya Janata Party that is afraid of losing now. And the idea that, from municipal elections, everything would be run in the name of Modi ji. Vidhan Sabha elections, आप मत देखिए, Modi ji का आशीर्वाद नहीं मिलेगा. Karnataka, this was said. आप मत देखिए, Himachal, it was said कि आपके आगे कौन सा प्रत्याशी, आप सोचिए आपका वोट डायरेक्ट मोदी जी को जा रहा है. So the moment you are restricted to 240, remember that your direct vote Modi ji ko gaya hai, and nobody is fearful of the idea that only, the Modi ji is one to lead. I think people have given you a verdict that constitution is supreme, and people are at the center stage of politics, and it should always be like that. It should never be Bharatiya Janata Party or Congress. It should be people that should take a call. It's the people that's power should be supreme, and that's what the elections, and that's why I said these elections have been watershed. And when Bharatiya Janata Party says it's being La La Land, I think they are in the La La Land, and the coming state elections would show them who's in the La La Land.
Interestingly, Indians no longer fear the BJP or the PM. That's also an interesting statement that Rahul has made.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you run everything...
Do you believe, no, but then do you believe then that there was a fear of Prime Minister and BJP earlier, before 24?
So I am saying everything was centered around Prime Minister. Remember, it was Modi Sarkar 1, Modi Sarkar 2, and it on the day of evening of 4th June, it came into NDA Sarkar. This is the fear. This is what we are talking about. And that's what we are talking about. When you restrict why was 400 par needed? Why was Bharatiya Janata Party's official candidate?
I'm sorry, but...
My final question to you, Pooja Tripathi, before we also get in some other guests also who are joining us live, is on the statement again to highlight the success of China and Vietnam. Was that needed? Fair enough, you can make a point of unemployment according to what you feel, but to highlight success of China and Vietnam is that needed at this juncture?
You
Pooja.
have to understand that Rahul Gandhi, Uday, was making a broader point of unless and until we stress on the manufacturing sector, unless and until we stress on the production, unless and until we stress on this bridging the skill gap, we can't generate employment for the country, because not everyone can have the government employment unless and until, and that's where the whole point of China and Vietnam came, because China is definitely is being the production boss of the world, and that's where he emphasized that China. And nowhere he said that anybody is ashamed to be born in India before 2014 or 1947.
Okay.
Nowhere.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.